Katana number 3, written by Ann Nocenti, art by Cliff Richards. So last issue, a whole lot of things with like Sword Clan and Dagger Clan. Killer Croc is showing up. That's where we left off. And we pick up as well with Croc flying into San Francisco. He's being told that they're landing in 15 minutes. And he asks his driver to take him to a ship graveyard that is apparently in a marina nearby, and all of his internal monologue is saying, I'm out looking for dragons. Apparently the last dragon was slain with Katana's sword. I know she's in this area, and now I just gotta sit here and wait for my plan to come together. So, cut to the bar where Tatsu is currently working. She overhears a bunch of people talking from the Dagger Clan, and she's like, yep, I'm mastering the art of being just completely invisible by being the most boring human being alive. And that way people will let their lips be loose and share secrets. And she hears that the Dagger Clan is going to be meeting at the boat graveyard. So she's like, well, that's all I need to know. I'll meet them up there. But then she's talked to by her boss saying that some like bowling alley gangsters are causing trouble in the other room, including a guy named Two Pins. And so she thinks it's ironic justice that she's going to use a bowling ball, throw it, and hit Two Pins in the shins. And that'll somehow stop him from being an ass. And it works. So then we cut to I don't even, it's just like a store in Japantown where she picks up a sword a lot like, I forget his name, the whip guy. It says it later on. Coil, that's it. Like Coil's sword. And I guess she wants to try to practice with it. But as she's walking back home, she goes by Junko, that town drunk guy who gave her some good information. And Junko steals the coil sword and just starts like whipping it around as a master. And he's like, oh, see what I'm able to do? I can do all this. I can steal your hat right off your head with it. And he tells her to give it a try. She just ends up whipping herself with it accidentally. And he's like, you're no good at that. You should stick with what you know, because you're going to have to practice this over and over and over again in order to get as good as me. And she gets pissed off at that and starts attacking him. And he fights off the attack, but then she manages to grab his alcohol and like runs up a building with it. And he's just like, all right, fair enough. Yeah, no, you caught me. Give me back my booze. And I don't know if it's going to come into play later, but he says, where do you hide your sword, Tatsu? So at this point, we see her in a katana outfit. She's practicing with the coil sword. She's getting slightly better at it, but she's still not a master of it. And we see the 3 people she's encountered so far, which are Coil and Sickle, 2 of the like higher ups in the Sword Clan, and Thrust, who is her turncoat that she's got going on. And she talks to her sword, which of course has her husband's soul in it. And she's like, oh, my husband, is it okay that I'm working with the enemy? And then nothing is said, and she's like, oh, how could you say that to me? I've always loved you. So I guess the sword didn't like it. Anyway, she goes to the Wayward Marina. She hears the Dagger Clan talking inside, and she's like, okay, these guys are kind of stupid, and they're not as good as the Sword Clan, so I'm going to purposely trigger their trap, their little bell that they've got set up, so that way they think I'm incompetent, they let their guard down, and I can just take them all out at once. And she does pretty much that, though there is a second wave that she didn't quite expect, who are slightly better, and they're able to use a bit more attack on her. And they actually do manage to get the upper hand after a little bit. And as the leader of the Dagger Clan comes up, he's like, sorry, Katana, but we just sold your sword to the highest bidder. And he's about to come up and kill her, and then all of a sudden Croc pops out, grabs the guy who's going to kill her, throws him off the ship, throws off all the other guys, and just like, hey, you did your job. You got paid for getting her here. Now back off. Because he wants the sword, and I guess he doesn't want Katana to be dead for it, but they never establish why. So anyway, Katana's like, okay, I don't really want to deal with Killer Croc. So she sees a propane tank, she chops off the tube that was keeping it all together. Then she uses some fire to basically set fire to Croc, and Croc's like, ouch, that's mildly inconvenient, but I have these scales that are protecting me. And as she tries to jump overboard on the ship, Croc manages to grab her sword in his teeth, and before she's able to get it back, Croc just snaps it in half and it shatters in his mouth. And she freaks out because there's a bunch of souls now flying around, including the soul of her husband, but also including a demonic Oni soul who's like, hey, you thought your husband was the one talking to you? Nah, it was me. I was the one who was telling you to do all of those stupidly dumb things. That's right, me, the soul of the Creeper. And that's where the issue ends, is the Creeper is alive, or his soul is out at the very least. Here's the thing, I know very little about the Creeper. Modern Comics has recently introduced him again in Tom King miniseries, but it ain't this. It ain't an ancient Japanese demon soul. So I'm curious to see what path they could possibly take with this Creeper. I'd imagine that it's just basically going to be an original character that happens to use the name and kind of the style of the Creeper, but who knows? Maybe this will be Katana's Joker. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's what they're going for. I'm not all that impressed yet, and I'm also really confused as to how Croc was just able to do that. Here's the thing. All I'm really getting to at the end of all this is that Katana has been made to look so weak over the course of this series. Like, in every other thing she's made an appearance in, she's been the muscle. She's the one who comes in with precision and skill and just takes care of business. But for some reason in this series, she's just an idiot. She just can't do anything right. And it bothers me, the difference in quality there. So, yeah, no, I don't really care for most of what this issue does. It's just kind of, for me, padding, but I don't even know what we're padding to at this point. It feels like we've never really laid down what the core plot has been since issue 1. So I'm going to give this one I'll give it a 5.5. It's not awful. I do like the art style in some places, but for the most part, the writing still has just not grabbed me, and it's only getting a bit weirder with every... We literally got to a demon soul of the Creeper. Yeah, we lost the plot. 5.5.